What is good, everybody? Welcome back to Jim Dropper Sports. I'm your host, Sean T. Stewart, back here with my main man, Ace, dog. Look, man, Carolina Panthers, dog. A lot to talk about, bro. You ready?
Listen. It's going on 2 years now. We told y'all about the importance of the trenches, and that's what the Panthers are doing right now, including with an addition that just got paid. Good old 8 ball. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Like you said, man, in due time we'll get to the 8 ball. But like you said, the trenches. You talk about guys like Bobby Brown from the Los Angeles Rams. You talk about guys like Deshaun Wharton from the Kansas City Chiefs. Going and making sure and ensuring that your defense will be much better than that group we saw last year. The Panthers went out and suited up one of the worst defenses of all time. That was hands down some of the worst defense I've ever seen from any professional organization. And they didn't credit the Dan Morgan. He set out to go change that. Like you said, going and attacking the interior. Deshaun Wharton, Kansas City Chief, had 8.5 sacks this past season for the AFC defending champs. A guy that's gonna have to now take up the role of being one of the guys alongside Derrick Brown. I think pairing up anybody with Derrick Brown is gonna make them look better. But I think pairing up guys like Bobby Brown, who's a rotational guy in Los Angeles, adding in Deshaun Wharton, guys like this add to that depth that we talked about. We talked about it, in the last episode. Depth is something we have not had. It's something we need to get used and accustomed to having here in Charlotte. And I think that's exactly what that'll provide. You talk about a defense that ranked dead last against the run. You had multiple teams that had 200 plus yard rushing days against this defense. And in today's NFL, that should not happen. You should not be giving up 200 plus yards rushing. This will change life for the Carolina Panthers immediately. I think this does instantly make this defense much more competitive than what it's been in the past couple of seasons, better than what it's been in the past couple of seasons, and especially better than it was last year. But what were your initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts, man, this is exactly what we needed. This is exactly the players that I will not mind. Dang, you mentioned that Trayvon Morton had 8.5 sacks. It's just what a D tackle, a nose tackle. That is amazing. That's like a pretty good job, and that really lifts off the weight of Derrick Brown. So him coming off a season-ending injury. So now Derrick Brown is gonna be well rested, and then also, man, it's a good tag team for both, man. And then also like. I'm still high on DJ Wanham. I think a healthy DJ Wanham is still a starter on the opposite side of the edge. Only thing I'm focused on is what should we do on the other side of the edge where Jadeveon Clowney was playing at. Are you still high on let's get an offensive weapon, or should we still go get our man Jalen Walker from Georgia? How you feeling about that?
So for me, because they signed Patrick Jones from the Minnesota Vikings, I don't feel like they've signed a star edge. You still haven't truly addressed that position well enough. Patrick Jones, to me, much like Wanham, is a guy that I think is solid, but I don't believe by any stretch that he's anything more than a rotational piece. I still believe Clowney should be on the roster. I mean, it was a 2-year deal that he signed, so I think, and I could be wrong on this, and this could easily be fact checked. I believe Clowney is still on the roster until further notice. I think that there's a post June cut date that they may get to, and then where they could release him. But I believe Clowney is still there, and based on how Clowney performed last year, I believe Clowney should still be a Carolina Panther because based off of who I believe he is, I think we both can say that he played up to the standard and the level that we thought he could play up to. The number 8 pick. It depends. One move that this hinges upon with the number eight pick. If you go get Trey Hendrickson from Cincinnati, then you can. I'm totally changing what I want with that number 8 pick. If you go get Trey Hendrickson, go get Ted McMillan. If that's the guy that they see fit to draft, I'm supporting whomever. Ted McMillan, Tyler Warren, cats like that I think are elite offensive weapons. Go get one of those guys for Bryce if you're able to go acquire Trey Hendrickson via trade. Now, if not, then you know where I'm at with it. If guys like Mason Graham start to fall, then I'm taking Mason Graham. If Jalen Walker falls, I'm taking Jalen Walker. If Michael Williams is there, I may consider trading back because I don't know if I necessarily have to take Michael Williams at 8, but I want to do whatever it is that I see fit. If Jalen Walker and Mason Graham are gone, then I say trade back a few picks and see if you can collect another second rounder, and hopes that you can just get as much talent as possible within that top 100. You know how much I've voiced that opinion of getting as many picks within the top 100 as possible. But yeah, for me, it's all contingent upon what they can do in the trade market with Trey Henderson or any edge rusher for that matter.
Correct. I feel like it's more so the Panthers are setting up for best player available (BPA) for that 8th pick. If they do add a Trey Henderson, because honestly, I don't think with all the lists, I think all the good players is gone. And then also, what I hate the most is I hate that we miss out on Greenlaw because we still need a middle linebacker. Like that's still one of the holes we need to fix. I believe we did extended Mike Jackson. He'll be, I guess, cornerback too. I don't know. I'm kind of in on it, but I mean, number wise, they say he did a decent job. But I mean, I don't know, man. I'm looking at the Cowboys game, and I'm just looking like, bro, I don't know, man. We need to solidify CB2. That's just me.
And that's fair. I think what Mike Jackson truly is for the Carolina Panthers is the best of a bad situation. If I'm being honest, he isn't the best CB2 that's available. He's just the best we can do right now, and better than what we had previously. In training camp. Before we brought him in via trade. So that's kind of where I'm at on that. I mean, we can talk about some of the re-signings real quick. Austin Corbett re-signed. Tommy Tremble re-signed. Obviously, our boy J.C. Horn re-signed. And Brady Christensen also re-signed, which I think of all the re-signings, the biggest splash, obviously J.C. Horn. But the most important, the most vital, I think, well, maybe not the most important, but it's going to be the most underrated. Brady Christensen's signing is going to be very underrated this season. You talk about a guy that has been a rotational guy in the offensive line, been able to play guard, been able to play tackle, been able to do a lot of things for us on the offensive line. With this new coaching staff, he did that group itself look better. He played great football. I'm surprised he didn't test out there. I'm surprised the market didn't work out for him to where he was signing a big deal to go elsewhere. Because to me, that's a starting offensive lineman for 31 other NFL teams if I had it my way. But what were some of your thoughts on the re-signings for Carolina?
Hey, just to piggyback on Brady Christensen, man, that's kind of like that's like the second gift I want to say that Matt Rule gave us. I ain't gonna lie, because Brady Christensen was a Rule guy. Hey, he gave us J.C. Horn. Then he also got Brady Christensen in the later rounds as well. So I mean, hey, shout out to Nebraska's coach for giving us Brady Christensen, and I think you are right. He is 100% could be a starter as well. I mean, because we had him in so many places. We had him inside. We had him playing with left tackle at one point, which he did decent at. We had him playing at guard, phenomenal at. Hell, I'm surprised we had him playing center at this point. It's rare you can have a guy that can play any position on the line, on the trenches, man. Yeah, was it Swift Army knife, whatever the hell? I probably misworded.
Yes, yes, Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, for real. Yeah,
that's facts.
What was the question? You said the other signings is Austin Corbett good. I'm all for you know me. I'm all for keeping the trenches together. Yeah, that's me. I had to learn that. That's adulting. Hell, man. Before we get to J.C. Horn, how about that safety from the Raiders that we signed? I can't say his name, but
Trayvon. I'm gonna try this out now. Trayvon Morik.
Okay.
Okay, so for him, he's a safe. Okay, based off of what we struggle with in the back end, tackling near the line of scrimmage was absolutely putrid. Hence why your run defense was so bad, because your defensive backs could not tackle near the line of scrimmage. Thank you, Xavier Woods. Morik is the complete opposite of that. Can play aggressive up near the line of scrimmage, allows you to throw him into the box. He's that type of safety that everybody wanted Jeremy Chin to be for all of those years. A guy that could play up near close to the line of scrimmage, also having the ability to cover. He has all of that skill set together. And I mean, funny enough, Jeremy Chin is just signed to Las Vegas to go replace Trayvon. So, I'm saying, it's funny how things work out. But yeah, I believe he's absolutely going to be one of those. He's going to be one of those signings that if people aren't aware of him right now, You'll know him very soon when your defense is in the top 10 of run defense, in the league. I think that's where you're looking at this defense being at with some of the guys and based on how they fit. I'm excited for what he brings. He brings that level of stability to a position that many people forget about because safety just isn't one of those. It's not one of the important positions anymore how it used to be. But I think when you have a good one, you definitely feel it in the presence of your defense.
And my only question with that is like, who's going to be opposite of him? Because I think we gave Xavier Woods the boot, right? So,
We did it. We did indeed give Xavier Woods the boot.
so it'll be Sam Franklin or, well, that's what I'm
So
saying.
I mean, whew, hey brother, I'd rather play Damani Richardson, man. Just I'd rather struggle with Damani Richardson than be out there struggling with Sam Franklin, dog. Let my young guys cook. Damani Richardson had to play a lot of snaps last year due to injuries and due to guys just being terrible at their jobs. So yeah, it's not the craziest idea in the world. I don't know if you want to go into the season with Damani Richardson being your sole starter. So I think it still have some work to do. The other safety position will be the one where you'll see like, okay, they were kind of late to the party with some of these guys, and this is kind of what you got left with. So, it is what it is. I mean, like you said, there's still so many holes to fill in this defense, and like you said, linebacker is still a position that we do not have solidified. I think the only linebackers that I can think of right now on the roster are Josie Jewell and Trevin Wallace, and
Yeah,
that's just not good enough right now.
I was thinking to myself last night. I was like, bro, I am so spoiled from Luke Kuechly. I'm like, that is like the standard, which I understand there will never be another Luke Kuechly. There will never be another Luke Kuechly on this in coming out to college or anything like that. But just somebody that I can feel comfortable with in that level of the field, that level of the defense. Luke, he calling out the plays. He's saying, hey, sweep right. Hey, it's a pass. Hey, Norman, it's your way. It's your way. We,
And and
it's
like the
hard to
closest
find that.
thing right. And the closest thing that I've ever seen to that was Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw in San Fran, which is why, like you said, alluding to Dre Greenlaw earlier, that would have been a great signing. Oh my goodness, that would make me feel so much peace at night, knowing that that's who's operating my defense. That's who is getting my defense in and out of checks, and that's who's flying sideline to sideline to make plays. We still don't have that figured out. I don't know what'll happen. I just can't. I just don't see us making a splash at that position this year. I think the best we can do right now is try to go get Trey Henderson from Cincinnati, based off where they're at right now in terms of. I mean, they're selling. I mean, they are completely selling on their franchise right now. Um, I hopefully you can get a deal done. Hopefully you can strike a deal and get something done there. Maybe a second rounder will do it. Maybe a third rounder will do it. Whatever it takes. I think anything aside from my first round pick, I'm willing to give up. Anything aside from that first round pick, I'm willing to part ways with and get him in process blue. That does change what we can do in the draft. Because I mean, right now we're so bad as a team, and this is why I've said this over the past few weeks. We're not good enough to simply hone in on one position. We got to go collect as much elite talent as possible, which is why I'm of the mindset of trading back to even collect more options for us to be able to put in more elite talent on the field. I mean, if we could pick up another second round pick, I think that would make me comfortable with maybe not grabbing an edge rusher in the first round and maybe waiting to the second. If you could get a pick in the top of the second round, guys like Kyle Kennard. Guys like that I think are gonna fall to day two. And realistically, I'm just like, that's how deep this class is that a guy like that will fall to day two and still very well be a day one starter for you if you were to pick him up.
Exactly, and I saw on TikTok, I saw a comment. This with the Nicky Memorial skit that we had did, and it said everybody's high on the was it Texas, the Texas safety is Starks. Starks cold. I ain't gonna lie, Starks is like that. I ain't gonna do an argument for Starks. It's Texas cat, nah, no. I think Nicky Memorial clears him, but
But Nick is. I'm sorry. I'm gonna let you finish, but yeah, I got something to
so I'm
say about
asking, do you think if they had that same idea where everybody else at team needs that, you think Nick E can fall in the second as well? Like it'll be high. It's gonna be high in the second though. I know he'll fall, but not fall too far. So how would you feel about that? We take a chance, Nicky Award.
I think for us to get Nicky Award, we would have to acquire another second round pick because our pick being at 57, I just don't believe he's lasting that long. I don't see him lasting outside the first round, but that's just me. But if he were to last to the second, he'd be gone within those first 5 picks within the second round. There's just no way possible. Nicky Award to me, and the reason why I would put him above Makuba, and I'm not a film guy. I have not watched any of Makuba. I know Starks from years of being in the SEC, so I know Malachi Starks, and I am a big fan of Malachi Starks as well. Nicky Mawari, if you like Kyle Hamilton, then you'll love Nicky Mawari because everything that he can do. Hey, play up close near the line of scrimmage. I believe he can do that. Can he cover? Can he cover down the field? I believe he can do that. Can he? Does he get the ball back for you? Does he turn the ball over? He can do that. And what else can he do? He can crib it. And physically, he's got all the physical tools to do any and everything that you're asking for. Play in the box, play out wide with tight ends. There isn't a matchup that he can't take on right now. I mean, obviously there are some matchups that aren't favorable to him, but as far as tight ends and looking at how deep the tight end position is in our league today, yeah, guys that you'll see around like Mark Andrews, guys like George Kittle, yeah, like your Travis Kelce's, those types of cats. He can go cover those guys today and give him your best shot. And we know how important that is when you see teams that have those level of tight ends. You need to be able to have a guy that can go one-on-one that because those guys are already hard to match up with based off of alignment. They're already hard to match up with anyway. So if you have a guy that can truly go one-on-one with those guys and strap up, you got a bona fide stud, man. And I think Nicky Moore is that caliber of guy. It's based off of preference though, what you like at your safety position. Because if you want more of a ball hog, then you go get Malachi Starks. But if you want that level of versatility, Nicky Moore is the guy for that.
And so basically, in conclusion, like these next free agent moves, next couple of days, it really could be BPA, like we said earlier. So I mean, hey, we trade back, like you said, we could be in play for a Nicky Moore later in the first round. I think we could be in play for Mike Green, maybe depending on what he got a certain situation going on in his personal life, alleged. So we're gonna say alleged here. Mike Green's another guy. Kyle Kennard again, definitely, definitely a guy I would not mind having. So I mean, so many things we can go to. And I'm also a fan of offensive guys. Like, what offensive guys you got in mind? In like later rounds, I'll tell you my two. It'll be either Luther Burden and Rocky Sanders.
So for me, if see Luther's a problem. I could only see us getting Luther if we were like in the back half of the first round, right? I think that's where he would probably be taking that. Now Isaiah Bond has jumped up considerably for me. I want that type of speed and explosiveness in my receiving room. Jalen Royals, Utah State, another guy. Another speed and explosion guy that I think works great out of the slot, as that element that we don't have in the room. And Cam Scatterboot later on, like I would say, like third, fourth round, Cam Scatterboot will be where I'd be considering him. But have you seen the Ashton Genty lore that's starting to build here in the Panthers fan base? If we were to go get Trey Hendrickson, say we were to get Trey Hendrickson, and we were going to take an offensive guy, Ashton Genty at 8, could you get behind that?
Okay, so that kind of gives me the same vibe. Like, remember we had D'Angelo Williams, and then like a couple years later we got Jonathan Stewart. It gives me that same type of vibe, in a sense. I see the vision, and that's really taking it back to the old Panthers. That's the Panther way, for real. And that let us know, like, hey, we're really gonna be a run first team for real. Like, we have to be a run first team. So does that bring what Ashton Genty did in Boise State? Does that translate over to the NFL? That's the thing, because
that's the question. Like that, like, as much as I like Ashton Genty and I love what he did at Boise State, I mean, you're not. I don't see you being able to just physically impose your will like how you did against those boys in in the you know what I'm saying, and whatever the hell conference they're even in. I don't even know what conference or the Mountain West. Like I don't think that's gonna translate. Not seamlessly. I don't believe, but I don't. So I don't truly know. But I mean, I Ashton Genty alongside Chuba Hubbard would it would feed families. I mean, it takes the pressure off of
Hey,
Bryce altogether. Because
it does.
because I mean, because some Panthers fans mentioned this about Chuba Hubbard. While he is a very good running back, he is not a tier one running back. He's really good, but he ain't. But you know there's a level above him. Like you watch Saquon Barkley, you clearly know there's a level above where he's at. Derrick Henry, we clearly know there's a level above what we have currently when you see guys like that on the field. No, not the Chuba Hubbard. I just think that we can go add a really good running back alongside another really good running back and have a great backfield. I was relying on Chuba right now, especially after you paid him. I don't think you want to just. I mean, that's the only running back in the room right now. So you got to figure out something. And so the next few signings that I'm seeing are likely gonna have to be in that running back room. It's at some point running back room and linebacker are probably gonna have to be the two, and then you would have to probably then spend another pick on an edge rusher. I mean, something I don't know. We got so many needs, bro. Like it's crazy that not one pick can solve what we need for this team right now.
Yeah, I don't think we've spoken earlier, but yeah, since we have one healthy running back right now, I don't know the word on Blackshear, but uh, yeah, we cut Miles Sanders yesterday, right? And it kind of sucks because I was, I was kind of iffy about not iffy. I really dislike the pickup with Miles Sanders because he kind of showed out. He kind of showed out at the late when he got back from the injury with the Giants. He kind of showed out a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. A lot of people ain't gonna admit that. They gonna pretend that they didn't see it. But Miles Sanders actually showed, we got some promise here. But I mean, hey, maybe too little, too late at this point. Then Jonathan Brooks, hell, I probably might not see him till next fall. Honestly, um, that sucks. It really sucks, dude. I feel like the kid could really, be something special here. And it's not closed the door fully yet. I mean, hey, rookie, we get it, man. Still time for him to rebound and rehab.
Absolutely, man. If anybody knows not to give up on young guys, it's got to be the Carolina Panthers to know that you cannot give up on guys that early, even with injuries like this. Doesn't look great for Dan, but it ain't enough time to give up on him yet.
Right. I mean, considering it was the Cowboys doctors or something like that worked on his, ACL that he tore. But I mean, it is what it is, though. So I mean, we haven't spoke on everything. So I guess can we get to JC Horn?
Oh, absolutely. I've been waiting for this one. I've been waiting for this. JC Horn. I know the question for everybody's going to be, why would you pay a guy that hasn't played a lot of football since he's been drafted? 3 games his rookie year. I only had prior to this year, I only had one season where he played more than 10 games in a season. And the only thing I can tell you is that, look, you're right. Everything you're saying about the questions about his injury history, you're absolutely right. But there's a risk with every contract you give out in the NFL. Like literally every one. Because, for example, Derrick Brown just got paid. Derrick Brown hadn't had a season injury at any point in time in his Carolina Panther career. Gets paid, look what happens. You know what I'm saying? There's risk. There's a risk in every single contract. And you have to have a risk and reward assessment. Based off what JC Warren can give me on the football field, it is worth the risk to pay him out right now before guys like Sauce Gardner and Derek Stingley are up for their money. Pay him right now and bet on that he's gonna be able to stay on the field. Because when he's on the field, he's one of the best. Top 10, top 5 in his position. No questions asked in my mind. Based off what he produces, he deserves the money. Nobody can question me about his talent on the field. Nobody can ever question that. And if that can't be questioned, then you gotta just have a risk assessment, talk with yourself, and be able to part ways with the fact that, hey, maybe it doesn't work, but oh well, we're gonna have to fix it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of crazy. I had made a tweet, you know, saying I shared a tweet in the chat. I know Thomas Davis and Jason Horn's two different things, two different injuries. You know, I guess a couple of guys like, hey, Thomas Davis played 4 seasons before he got his injuries back to back or whatever, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's the message is here. You don't give up on your players. You don't give up. Like any other, it could be easy for the Panthers when Thomas Davis had his back to back injuries. They could have just gave up on him. But we didn't give up on JC because, like you said, we know what JC Horn can do. That's always been the positive argument that my whole time, my argument on Twitter, on X, or whatever the hell, is when JC is on the field, y'all know what he can do. When healthy, on the field, and like you just can't let that go. You can't let that go. Like just you pair him, you send him off to the Chiefs. Say he joined the Chiefs. Boom. Then what then? Hey, you just granted Chiefs the top one of the top corners in the league for free for nothing. You know? He don't want to went out there and showed out to Kansas City.
And that's one of those things too. Is like everybody can say it's a dumb move right now for the Carolina Panthers to pay a guy that's been injury prone until he goes somewhere else and balls out. So then it would still be a dumb move either way. If we did pay him or if we didn't, I'd take the risk, keep him here, and let's see if we can figure it out as a and let's see if we can figure it out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there really isn't much else to really be said about it. I mean, everybody knows where he's at in terms of when he's on the football field. So for me, he's worth the money. I'm glad he got his. I'm glad he got his just due. And I mean, we'll see. I mean, everything has to be proven on the field. This year, he doesn't have the hardest slate of number one receivers to face. I believe he's due for another great season.
Yeah. Yeah, this year because there's a lot of teams that just don't have that solidified wide receiver one. I think his toughest. I'm looking at the schedule right now. Honestly, of course, Mike Evans. Maybe they kept Mike Evans and Bucks kept Chris Godwin as well. Um, honestly, Marvin Harrison Jr. maybe the third hardest one. I think the most difficult one he'll have to go against is just CD Lamb. Just looking at the Panthers schedule going into next year, and anybody hey, fact check this on it. But honestly, I think the most difficult wide receiver that CD is going to go against next year is CD Lamb. So next year is a great year to showcase, that contract, why you paid him. Evero, our message to you, please, just begging, let that man travel. Let him travel. Okay, if you turn on the Cowboys game last year, they put CD Lamb in the slot, screen pass, fried up the field. Majority of CD Lamb's yards last year was screen passes. Going away from JC Horn. Let that man travel, Ebro. For the sake of your job. Maybe. I don't know. I don't want you to get fired. You're a black man. But I'm saying, I'm just giving you free chicken. Here on Jerem Chopper Sports, we're just giving you free chicken here. You know what I'm saying? Free game.
Hey, look, the thing about it now is that there is no excuse for JC not to travel. Getting paid too much money now. Too much money getting made. The comfort of sitting on that one side, and JC wants that he wants that smoke too. Let him have it. Let him go out and have all of it. But I mean, as we get ready to wrap up here, because I know you got to get ready to go soon. I give credit. I need to give credit to Dan Morgan. Obviously, the Milton Williams signing was like the first big thing that happened during free agency. Fans, myself alike, very very upset when I woke up and saw that he wasn't a Panther anymore. You know what I'm saying? And ends up signing with the Patriots. The recovery after that was great to see by Dan Morgan. Like I said, I understood why you didn't pay Milton Williams either. Based off of what he wanted and based off what you paid Derrick Brown, it's kind of hard to go pay a new guy more than what you're paying your guy currently. And is he worth that? Based on what the market says, no. Somebody had to overpay. The Patriots had more cap space. They were willing to overpay. You got to do that here in free agency at times when you want your guy. But shout out to Dan Morgan for recovering. He recovered well. There's still more work to be done. I'm not ready to call this a win just yet. I want to see what else he can do throughout the upcoming days and what he can do and what he can do during the draft. But as of right now, I can say I'm happy with what Dan Morgan was able to get done here in the past couple of days.
Yeah, I'm gonna end this on a positive note as well. Shout out to Dan for rebounding, bringing that award in, and a guy that's known to doing, At least that's known, for giving production and everything like that. I feel like the rest just more so adept guys, like you said earlier on the edge on the line. So right now, my stance has not changed. Jalen Walker, need Jalen Walker. That's not gonna change just yet. But hey, like you said, Dan, depending on what you do with Trey Hendrickson, dog. Depending on what you do with that there, then that's when I'm like, all right, cool. You getting BPA. It's BPA at that point at 8. Then everybody can be happy. Everybody can be happy. Like, come on, Panthers fans. Let's all be happy for once, man. Let's all be come on, man. Stop with the negativity, man. Let's bring some positivity in.
There is a path for us to be on one page as a fan base that I cannot remember us ever being on since I've been on Twitter/X. I can never remember the Panthers Nation being on one page, and I think if Dan plays it right, by God, we can all be on that one page and we can just all hate on everybody else. Let's take this hate and take it and push it somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, this is Jim Dropper Sports. I'm your host, Shanti Stewart. This is my co-host, A. Smith. And